Aside from the Apple Watch, if you're looking for a great smartwatch that actually will utilize some of the iPhone features and put them into your wrist, like the ability to pay wirelessly with some supported terminals, receive push notifications, have access to a full number keyboard so you can actually make phone calls from just your wrist, the Garmin Venu 2 Plus may be the watch for you. Let's go ahead and review it and talk about its unique features that it has. So yeah, this is actually compatible for both Android and iPhones, but we'll be primarily just focusing on the iPhone user side of things. So a bit of background. I've been an Apple Watch user for most of my life, to be honest, which is quite sad. So making the transition from this to this was actually really interesting. I'm going to go through the gesture overview right now. So you have 3 buttons right here. The center one, if you press and hold, this will actually launch your virtual voice assistant, aka Siri. And yes, it's compatible for both Bixby and Google Voice Assistant. And whenever you launch the virtual voice assistant, you get this animation. It's the same thing on Google and Bixby. Now the top button right here, if you tap once, this will actually take you to your workout activities. Now the workout activities, honestly, it's not as big compared to the Apple Watch activities, but nonetheless still quite nice. And if you keep scrolling down, you have access to navigation, breathe work, and your overall health snapshot, which this does actually have a blood oxygen sensor, and it also keeps track of your heart rate. And then if you tap and hold the top button, this will give you access to the ability to lock your display, music, volume control, phone, do not disturb, including the brightness adjustment, and the ability to pay with your virtual credit cards right here. And then the very bottom button, this acts as your back button. The center button, when you quickly press, this will actually toggle the shortcut you have set. You could fully customize this, and right away, a thing that I really do like about this watch is that you could basically operate this watch without even touching the screen as much, because all these 3 buttons, they basically allow you to do it all. Your fingers basically just does the scrolling. Now, under daily usage, one of the massive selling points that I see of this watch that I really do like and appreciate on like the Apple Watch, I don't need to charge this thing daily. This thing actually is advertised to be able to last 9 days under a single charge. But for my real world experience, I've been able to get through an entire week without charging this thing under a single charge, and that is with me being active, which somewhat makes up for the awkward way to charge this thing. This thing actually relies on this USB-A cable to actually charge this little smartwatch. So unfortunately, kind of like the Magic Mouse from Apple, you have to flip it upside down and charge it this way. I just wish they had a puck, but I guess beggars can't be choosers. 9 days is better than charging this thing daily, I guess. Just something I want to quickly highlight. This is one of the things I'm not a huge fan of. Now, although this is a very popular smartwatch from Garmin, and it's really well known, especially in the GPS market, an important thing to know if you're making a transition from an Apple Watch to this is that there's lack of third-party accessories. Where with the Apple Watch, you can find basically accessories for pretty much anything, just like our smartphones. This thing doesn't have that much support, but the band can be swapped with another band as long as it's a compatible size. Unfortunately, this band right here around the watch face, I made the mistake of picking this lighter color. I was assuming this part was going to be able to be swapped out, but no, I'm stuck with this color. So if you're purchasing one for yourself, make sure you select a body color that you want. I know these are on back order. Don't rush it, because in reality, you can only swap the bands, not the body. Now, when you launch the Garmin app, I love the information that this watch actually gathers. It actually monitors your heart rate in real time, and yes, it does achieve that massive battery life while doing all this. It also keeps track of your body's battery, so like your drain and stuff. Right now my level's like fluctuating, but it actually does have a stress monitoring measurement right here. Keeps track of your steps, calorie goals, BPM, rest. And if you're very competitive, there is daily challenges here, and you do earn rewards very similar to what Apple does with their Fit app. And yes, you can actually invite friends too, so long as they have a Garmin compatible smartwatch. Now, if you're concerned about downloading third-party apps as well as customizing your watch face, yes, this does indeed support it. It relies on another Garmin third-party app that you need to download, but in here you have the ability to check out and find apps you can actually install dedicated for the smartwatch itself. They have a lot of selections to choose from, but in the music category you can find the supported music streaming apps that it has. You can install some of these too, like some of your playlists and stuff if you're subscribed to Spotify, of course. But then there's also like weather apps you can find right here, as well as some of these watch faces actually have a dedicated app feature in them, so you don't have to download a third-party app. But I have to admit, it's nowhere near as big compared to the support that Apple has in their app store. So it's really hard to find like games and such, for example. But who really plays games on their smartwatch? Unless you're that bored in class, I suppose that's a good valid reason why you may want to consider downloading a game on your wrist. But primarily weather, health, and music, it's all compatible. The things you really need for your smart fitness tracker. So you got to keep in mind, this watch does cost $450, and it's not cheap, honestly. When you compare it against another smartwatch like this Apple Watch SE, around the same price tag, my honest opinion is the quality, the material feels kind of cheap, honestly. The only thing I like is the back part, but the body overall, it's like hard plastic, unfortunately. Other than even the screen feels like a plastic material. I'm not even sure if this is sapphire, to be honest. And the Apple Watch SE, you can typically find this thing floating around $300, and this is the larger 44 millimeter. When you compare this two screen size side by side, you could tell there's a nice size difference, but I really do like the circular shape of the Garmin traditional watch look, and it's not that thick, to be honest, compared to how they used to look like. It's like a G-Shock, how I'll describe the bulkiness in the sense. But when you compare materials, I have to give it to the Apple Watch SE. Apple did a fantastic job in making their Apple Watch feel extremely premium for their price tag. Garmin, $450. It honestly feels like a $300 watch. And no, it's $450 without LTE. There's no LTE version, unfortunately, for the Garmin. For this watch currently, that is, at the time of making this video. But it does have built-in GPS, just like the Apple Watch, as well as built-in Wi-Fi. But unlike the Apple Watch, this actually does have widgets, which you could just activate by swiping like so. Go all the way down, you can tap edit, and you can actually customize the widgets and the information you want to have quick access to right here on this part of the display. And yes, this watch does indeed have sleep mode, which always tracks automatically. Now, this watch does come in with virtual coaches, which is quite nice. Apple has something similar, but it requires a subscription, which is kind of blah. But this one has it all for free. And so if you're practicing for a marathon and stuff like that, there's virtual coaches right here that you can install directly to your wrists. And if you want to quickly know if you could synchronize all the data that the Garmin smartwatch gathers to your Apple's Health app, yes, you could allow it to have permission to basically update everything. Now, an awesome selling point I see with this watch that has an advantage over the Apple Watch is that you can actually utilize the speaker on this smartwatch to actually play music out loud, a feature that is lacking on the Apple Watch. This one you could do that, and you could pair this across external Bluetooth headphones or speakers even. And the speaker quality, in case you're wondering, sounds like this. It's not bad, honestly, especially those situations where you forget your headphones or something. This is doable. Now, in terms of overall phone call quality, when picking up a call or making a phone call off this watch, it's not that bad. It's actually really good for a smartwatch. Not once had the person on the other end had a hard time understanding me, so it's actually really good. Now, in terms of safety features, it does have something similar to like Apple Watch does with their fall detection. This actually has a crash detection, so any hard impact fall, if you're cycling or something like that, you'll get a hold of your emergency contacts that you selected, as well as get a hold of emergency dispatchers, depending on the preference and the settings you adjust during the setup procedure when you first paired the Garmin smartwatch to your device. So it has that. Now you can also toggle the emergency SOS by simply holding down the top button like so and just continue holding it, and then you'll get this page and a 5-second countdown. You can end it entirely. So yeah, it does have those features. However, a thing that I really do like all smartwatches do have is the ability to actually view your text messages. Unfortunately, there's nothing like this on this. So you're gonna have to take out your main device if you want to reply or view a message, but you can always use Siri to reply to some messages, but you're not gonna know what to reply to since you can't see that message. Now, I don't like the fact that there's no motion gesture controls on this thing. In order for the screen to wake up, I have to either tap the button or just tap the screen And that's a con. I'm so used to just doing this like how it is with the Apple Watch, and there's no built-in web browser support. Again, something that you have on the Apple Watch that this one doesn't have. So all in all, if you want a smartwatch that can last one single week without having to charge it daily, this is not a bad option. But again, it's limited in its performance compared to modern day smartwatches, especially around this price tag. But in terms of doing smartwatch things, track your calories, your activities, stress level, sleep monitoring, answer calls, receive push notifications from your phone to your wrist, the Garmin Venu 2 Plus definitely does an excellent job. But I have to admit, the 1 week battery life is very impressive. Probably the reason why it doesn't have always on display. It preserves as much battery as much as possible compared to other smartwatches in the market. Oh, and a feature I almost forgot to mention is if you forget your smartphone somewhere, this watch can actually help pin your smartphone, so it can help you locate your device faster without having to call it. Oh no, there you guys have it. That is the comparison of the Garmin Venu 2 Plus against your standard, basically modern day Apple Watch around this price tag, primarily the SE. If you got some good useful information out of the video in this video comparison, you know what to do. Greatly appreciate if you can actually leave this video a like, as those help me out a lot, and get subscribed, especially if you enjoy a lot of tech videos just like this. Now these aren't currently in back order, but I'll have links in the video description down below to stores that are shipping them as quickly as possible. But if you'd like to see more about other competitors like the Apple Watch, you can go ahead and check out that video over there, as I do a comparison against the 7 and the current SE. And then that video over there, that's just a video YouTube's recommending specifically for you. Thanks so much for watching, take care, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.